is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jessica. And on this week's episode, Ashley is going to be talking about the Stack family murders.
Strack. I'm sorry. Strack. That was my bad. I told you Stack, and it's definitely Strack. Sorry about that. That's my bad.
Well, we're off to a great start. And I'm going to be talking about the Corpsewood Manor murders.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It's not.
Oh, I think I just heard the word manor and I was like, ooh, spooky. But
Yeah,
then
Corpsewood murders.
Yeah. Then I heard murders after
Yeah,
that.
it's not stellar and it's kind of confusing.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited.
Thanks, me too.
My story I got from the Halloween episode we did. It was one of the haunted stories or not haunted, but the
Oh, the like
stories.
Exorcist.
Yeah, well, this one was about the Apocalypse family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do some of the other stories I kind of like looked up from that same article to see if I could do those, but this one had like the most information on it. The other ones, the information that was in that article was kind of it. So
Oh, okay.
so I have that for us. Somewhere to go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I gotta pull it back up though. I lost it. Hold on. Okay, here it is. All right, so I got my resources from the Washington Post, the Salt Lake Tribune, the Recovery Village, People Magazine,
Ooh.
and Detroit Free Press.
Wow, look at you
I
go.
know, and it's I got like little different pieces from everywhere. Like there wasn't like a good concise article, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I feel like a trash bag for just like only using like one or two articles usually.
Yeah, it's because I had to use so many different ones to get all the information together. But
Ah, okay.
all right, on September 27th, 2014, in Provo, Utah, 19-year-old Jansen, which I kind of like that name, Jansen.
Hey, that's my mother's maiden name.
Oh, well, this is his first name. So
Mm. It's
Jansen,
Jansen, not Jensen.
yeah, it's Janson.
Oh yeah, ours is spelled differently, but
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Yeah. So Jansen McGee returned to his home with his girlfriend after a night out, just like he would any other night. He walked in and he didn't see his mom or his dad or his three siblings running around, and it was really odd. Where are they all? He started walking around his house and couldn't find them anywhere. And then he saw that his parents' bedroom door was shut. And he tried to open it, but something was blocking the way. He called his grandma and their neighbor, a family friend, over to help. And I think he was probably scared because he was a 19-year-old guy. Like he could have pushed the door open because the grandma pushed it open. So like he would have been able to, but I think he was like scared for what he would find.
Yeah.
So the grandma shoved the door open where they found all five of his family members lying lifeless in the room.
What?
The neighbor called 911, and you can hear the grandma in the background yelling, "The whole family killed themselves." When police arrived, they found Christy, the mom, and Ben, the dad, and Zion, who was their youngest, he was 11, on the bed. So Christy and Zion were on the bed under the covers. Ben was laying between Zion and Christy on top of the covers and had one arm and one leg draped over Christy. Benson and Emery, the other two children, who were 12 and 14, I believe, were found lying on mattresses on the floor. Because of Ben, the dad's position, they believe that he was the last one to die, which makes sense because they did it through like poisoning. So if he was the biggest one. Officers Also found in a trash bag nearby several empty medication containers, including 10 empty boxes of nighttime cold and flu medicine, 2 empty boxes of generic Benadryl. They also found empty boxes of liquid methadone that was prescribed to Christy. And for those of you that don't know, liquid methadone is what they give drug addicts to help them beat the addiction. So Christy was known to have a history drug problem with heroin. So she had been prescribed liquid methadone. They also found a bunch of pill bottles, a purple bucket with an orange, yellowish liquid inside, which they found consisted of cherry flavored methadone, dextromethorphan, which is a cough relief, diphenhydramine, which is an antihistamine, acetaminophen, caffeine, and doxylamine, short-term, which is a short-term treatment for insomnia, and ibuprofen.
Wow.
They also found a pitcher of red juice, an empty sleep aid box, and a towel with a red substance on it, and a bag of marijuana. So
Those are all like very contradictory
yeah,
things.
yeah, and they mixed them all together and drank them. So yeah, unfortunately, neither adult left a suicide note. So much of their reasoning is kind of left up to guesses for why they did what they did. Police did find a note that Benson, the oldest son, who was 14, they found a note that he had left that was intended to go to his close friend, leaving him all of his stuff. And they said it, quote, indicated that Benson was aware that he may die. His Ben, the dad's brother, said that it was a goodbye letter to a friend, and it basically mentioned that he would no longer exist on this earth, just saying goodbye, and that he had an inkling he would be found dead. He was 14.
You know what this sounds like?
Hmm.
Heaven's Gate.
A little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, except that it was 3 kids and 2 adults.
Well, it's like a combination of Heaven's Gate and Jonestown.
Yeah. Yep.
I was honestly expecting you to say that it was red Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Um, they did find a notebook that had a to-do list in it, almost like they were going on a vacation. There were items in it that said things like feed the pets, find someone to watch after the house. So it seems like this was something they had been planning. Apparently, in the weeks and months before the family died, friends and family said that the family was often talking about leaving this world. They said that the couple believed there was a, quote, looming apocalypse and that they desired to escape from the evil in the world. But apparently, most of their friends and family thought that they just meant that they wanted to like move to Montana and go off grid because they had mentioned that as well. And who thinks their family or friend is going to murder their whole family, right? Like, you would
Yeah.
never think that.
Why did they do it without Jansen?
They think, I think a couple of reasons. One, Jansen was Christy's son from a previous marriage, so he wasn't Ben's son.
Oh.
And 2, he was older than them, like quite a bit older. He was 19. He was engaged. He had a job. He had like his own life. And I'm thinking that they probably wouldn't have been able to brainwash him as easily as they did the other kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The medical examiner found that all 3 children had toxic amounts of antihistamine and methadone in their bodies. Christy had the same in addition to dextrofan and dioxylamine. And Ben apparently was like, fuck it, and just like overdosed on heroin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Obviously, the parents' deaths were listed as suicide. The 2 youngest were listed as a homicide, and the 14 was listed as undetermined because, quote, because of his age, it's difficult to determine if he was capable to make a decision to commit suicide or to consent to join with his parents in committing suicide, Springfield police said, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. He was 14. Like even if he said, yeah, sure, I'll drink it and die, I don't think he had the ability to really understand what that meant.
I mean, who knows, right? Because there are a lot of teenagers that try and commit suicide.
Yeah, but I feel like this is a little different because it's like his parents saying like, "Oh, there's an apocalypse coming and we have to die." Like, I just don't think a 14-year-old can wrap their head around that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I would say he was murdered by his parents.
Yeah.
Even if he did willingly drink it, I still think he was murdered by his parents.
Oh, well, he was completely brainwashed, right?
Mm,
That's the thing. So whether he had that willingness or not, and whether he knew what he was doing or not, I do believe that he was likely brainwashed
absolutely, yeah.
because, I mean, you grow up in that environment for so long with
That's
your
all you
parents.
know. And
Yeah,
they're
with
your
your
parents.
exactly. So they're the ones that you trust.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. Um, this is where it takes a turn. Um, it just takes a turn. So
okay.
through this investigation, detectives also found out that Christy was friends with Dan Lafferty. So for some of you, this name is ringing a bell and you're thinking, where do I know that name from?
I am that person.
Dan Lafferty is um he's in prison for brutally stabbing his sister-in-law and his 1-year-old niece. And he is part of the family, the Laffertys, that made a doomsday kind of sect of the Mormon religion in Utah. And there was a book written on them, and the Hulu series with Andrew Garfield, Under the Banner of God, is based on this family. So that's where you know his name from.
Did the niece die?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So um yeah, they found out that Christy was friends with Dan, and Christy and Ben would even visit Dan in prison. Um, in fact, they were so close that Dan had asked Ben and Christy to handle his remains when he died.
Wow.
But they hadn't seen Dan had not seen the couple since 2008. And when they told him about their murder suicide, they said he seemed really sad about their deaths. Um, and apparently this whole friendship started. So Christy was only 6 when Dan committed these murders, but she was really intrigued. One article said even went as far as to say obsessed with this case. And about 10 years before she died, randomly she had a dream about Dan. And this prompted her to reach out to Dan. And Dan said that him and Christy fell in love.
Oh.
And he even cut off his waist length hair and beard and sent them to her.
Ew, who wants that?
What a gift of love.
That's disgusting. Ew.
Yeah. Which then I wonder, so if him and Christy fell in love, but then Christy was married to Ben, and Ben and Christy went and visited Dan, what was that about?
Ew, he's so ugly.
Yeah, he's not handsome.
Ew.
Um, he said he didn't know anything about the couple's mindset though, at the time that they had killed themselves and their kids. He said he rarely talked about the end of the world with them. But I don't know if I believe that because his whole shtick was like the end of the world and religion and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that the girl who was obsessed with your case and your whole case was centered around the fact that your sister-in-law and niece were like not living in God's eye, you're
Yeah.
not going to talk to them about that.
Yeah.
So I don't buy it. But come to find out, the reason why Christy and Ben stopped visiting Dan in 2008 isn't just like because they stopped. It was because their visiting privileges were revoked because Christy tried to sneak her brother in as her husband so that he could visit Dan, which I don't understand why her brother couldn't visit anyway.
Yeah, like why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that ban worthy?
I don't know. So anyway, they got banned. from visiting him. So that's why they stopped visiting him in 2008. It's not like all of a sudden they had like a change of heart or different ideals or anything like that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So family and friends also said that the couple suffered from long-term mental illness and substance abuse disorders, which obviously could play a critical role in this
Well, yeah, because she
tragedy.
was what, like addicted to heroin, right?
Uh-huh. Yep. But they say looking back, they did see some of the signs, like the weeks before the family death, they started to kind of isolate themselves. Ben hadn't been to work in a while. But I guess Ben not going to work was pretty normal because of Christy's drug problem. He would take weeks off at a time to help her recover. And his boss said that he really thought that all this was kind of like behind them because Christy seemed to be doing so much better. But extended family members believe that the couple were, quote, victims of their mind, says their son, McGee, that with their mental illness was caused and made worse by drug use. This one action does not define the Ben and Christy that we remember, McGee says. They were caught in a vicious cycle that many people face in this world. There needs to be a greater sense of dialogue and urgency in our country regarding mental illness. It is simply a disease of the mind, and like any disease, we should work to cure and prevent it. Again, the family also had a history of financial issues, but nothing like major, so whether it was mental illness, their relationship with Dan Lafferty, or financial/drug problems, or like maybe a mixture of some of them or all of them, we'll unfortunately never know why this family ended at all.
Oh, I hate that so much.
I know.
That poor guy, though, like having to discover that.
I know, your whole family.
Yeah.
At 19.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, so that's that awful story. And I tried to find a bit more information about like them before this tragedy, but there really wasn't anything. It just really all focused around this tragedy and kind of how it happened and
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear it again.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Deal.
Deal.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the Corpsewood Manor murders.
Okay, I'm very interested in this one because I've never heard of it.
Also terrible.
Oh, great, great, great.
I used my favorite, All That's Interesting.
Ooh.
Again, you can go listen to their podcast. It's History Uncovered.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they have a podcast now.
Yeah. And crimecapsule.com.
Okay.
Are we ready?
We are ready.
Okay. Dr. Charles Scudder, who hailed from an affluent family, had the position of professor at pharmacology at Loyola University in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Which he considered to be a wonderful career.
Hmm.
People who knew Scudder described him as intelligent, refined, and soft-spoken, yet confident.
Oh.
Eventually, though, he got tired of the city, and in 1976, he left the comfort of his Chicago mansion in search of a simpler life.
Chicago mansion, wow.
Scudder desired an escape from taxes, light bills, gas bills, water bills, heating bills, and the helpless feeling that resulted from watching my old neighborhood dissolve into an urban ghetto.
Well, don't we all want to have no bills, but that's not really how life works.
Well, it was for him. The 50-year-old chose a remote location in the northern Georgia woods to start his new life. He moved to the south with his boyfriend, Joe Odom, leaving behind the most of his material things and building a new home by hand in the heart of the forest.
Wow, good for him.
Within 2 short years, they were residing in a luxurious mini castle, as Scudder put it.
A mini castle?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They gave it the moniker Corpsewood Manor for the area's eerily barren fall trees.
That's creepy. Don't name your house Corpsewood.
Right. The two added a 3-story chicken house to their country castle to complete it. The first floor housed the poultry and food storage. The second housed canned goods and the couple's pornography collection. And
Okay.
the third housed their pink room, also referred to as their pleasure chamber.
Oh my goodness.
And if you are as confused as I am, what is a chicken house, you might ask?
Oh, is it not a house with literal chickens in it?
No,
Oh, geez.
it is a place that offers sexual services, usually in an old house or a rundown neighborhood.
Okay. I'm too innocent for this world.
I had to look on like Urban Dictionary for that shit.
I literally thought you meant a house of chickens.
Like a chicken coop. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I
yep.
originally thought that too. And then I'm like, that can't be right. So I looked at Urban Dictionary and that was what it was.
All right. Good to know.
Yep. Scudder had been hiding more than just his relationship, as he was also a recognized member of the Church of Satan.
Oh. Like
Now,
like the modern Church of Satan that's like not really bad, or like
yes.
like legit the Church of Satan?
No, the actual Church of Satan. Like it, I know it gets a bad rap, but it's literally just an organization dedicated to people accepting man's true nature. Like it's not that bad. It's like opening yourself up and accepting your inner self.
Yeah. Okay.
It gets
so that one.
a bad rap, but
so not like Satan worship, like the
no.
Church of Satan. Okay.
No.
Oh, hello, ma'am.
Scudder's work was not typical of an academic, even at Loyola. For starters, he conducted government-funded research using hallucinogens like LSD. He kept a pet monkey, and he colored his hair purple in the interim.
Oh, how dare he?
Additionally, he brought some memories from Loyola to Corpsewood Manor, including 2 human skulls and around 12,000 doses of LSD.
I can't figure out, don't mind my cat, if he's a bad guy or not. Like, it's some things he does, I'm like, yeah, go you, that's awesome. And then some things that he does, and I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Ma'am, she is hitting my microphone. I apologize to everyone.
With his mementos in hand, Scudder was now free to practice his Satanism inside Corpsewood Manor. 2 mastiffs, Beelzebub and Arseniath, one named after a demon and the other after a character from H.P. Lovecraft, guarded this forest sanctuary. They were such cute doggies.
Aww.
According to local lore, the couple allegedly conjured a real demon to help the dogs guard the home.
Oh my gosh.
In keeping with the theme, Scudder and Odom also furnished Corpsewood Manor with Gothic ornaments, such as the skulls Scudder had stolen and the pink gargoyle he had taken from his previous home.
Not a huge fan of the stolen skull thing, but
right.
The verdict is still out. I don't know what's happening in this story, so keep going.
Isn't it chaotic?
Yeah, I don't know if he's good or bad yet.
Corpsewood Manor, in Scudder's opinion, felt more like a mausoleum, a tomb requiring maintenance, cleaning, and unending expensive repairs.
Oh, no.
But, like, you built it yourself.
It's true.
Like, obviously, you're not a craftsman, you're a professor. A significant character in the Church of Satan's hierarchy, known as Baphomet, is depicted in a stained glass window made by Scudder. Scudder did not worship Satan, despite the fact that he took his Satanism seriously.
Yeah, it sounds more like he is like into Satanism and not like the Church of Satan. Like, because I think those are like 2 different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I feel like the Church of Satan is just more of like, they're not like violent. They like, they fight for women's rights and stuff like that. But like, they don't worship Satan and they don't worship demons.
Yeah,
where it sounds like he's maybe worshiping demons and Satan and stuff.
No, it literally just said he did not worship Satan.
I know, but it kind of sounds like he does.
No. Nah.
I mean, he named his dogs after him. He's got stained glass windows after demons. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
He was a fervent atheist who, along with other churchgoers, preferred to enjoy the base earthly pleasures that they felt the other Abrahamic religions had denied them. And they did celebrate such delights because the pink room was furnished with mattresses, candles, whips, chains, and even a logbook recording visitors' sexual preferences, was where Scudder and Odom liked to host wild sex parties.
I mean, you do you, bro. Have some fun.
However, despite the fact that these actions are said to have been mutually agreed upon, Corpsewood Manor became a violent crime scene on the evening of December 12th, 1982, thanks to the pink room parties.
Uh-oh.
Things were sure to fall apart, with Scudder and Odom urging all of their guests to indulge in their every whim in a cloud of drugs and sex.
Wow.
But perhaps no one anticipated how tragic things would get.
Uh-oh.
Kenneth Avery Brock, 17 years old, and Samuel Tony West, 30, were two of the residents whom Scudder and Odom made friends with. There is a lack of information and conflicting accounts, but at the very least, according to Amy Petula's The Corpsewood Manor Murders in North Georgia, Brock may have had multiple sex acts with Scudder, the 17-year-old.
Right. All right. Starting to go on the villain side.
According to some reports, Brock only obtained Scudder and Odom's permission to hunt on their land, and after making friends with them on their expansive estate, he began to think they were a lot richer than they actually were.
Yeah.
But some sort of connection was made between Brock and West, Scudder and Odom. So whether it was the sexual acts or just him wanting to hunt on their land, just conflicting accounts.
Okay.
Although Brock may have invited it, Petula claims that West vehemently disapproved of sexual involvement with the older couple. Although Brock may have invited it, Petula claimed that West vehemently disapproved of any sexual involvement with the older couple. He might have persuaded Brock that Scudder had taken advantage of him as well. Again, though, it was unclear if Brock had actually been taken advantage of. Brock and West made the decision to go back to Corpsewood and rob Odom and Scudder.
Oh, geez.
On December 12th, 1982, Brock and West drove to Corpsewood Manor with two teens, Joey Wells and Teresa Hudgens. The four of them accepted Scudder's offer of homemade wine as well as a potent huffing concoction of varnish, paint thinner, and other chemicals.
They were giving this to a minor?
Yes. Well, he was 19.
Oh, I thought you said he was 17.
Was he? Oh, God. Yeah, he's 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Minor.
So trending more towards villain. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, my God. Sorry.
This was also the 70s, though.
Yeah, but still. Hold on. I am sorry. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
I thought she'd be all cute, like a cute part of the little episode, just like hanging out in the back. I didn't know how much problem she was going to cause. All right. So for everybody listening, my cat just knocked my camera over.
Really funny.
We'll keep that in the video. Stupid cat.
Anyways, yes. I mean, it was the 70s, so like take with that what you will. Brock eventually got to work during this drug-induced haze, taking a firearm from the car and so sorry, everybody. I really hate this part. Shot Odom and the two dogs.
No, why the dog?
And they made it worse by saying that the dogs were curled around the fireplace for warmth. Then Brock and West intimidated Scudder to hand over his money. Brock and West were unaware that there were no riches of any kind in the house, and after finally realizing this, they shot Scudder 5 times in the head, stole the few items of value that were laying around, and then left.
Oh, so he was not the bad guy.
No. On December 15th of that year, Brock and West committed a botched robbery and killed Kirby Phelps there as part of their escape. Brock then returned to Georgia and turned himself into authorities on December 20th, possibly feeling regret.
Possibly.
On the 25th, West also turned himself in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh.
West was ultimately convicted of 2 charges of murder and given the death penalty, while Brock admitted guilt and was given 3 consecutive life sentences.
Oh, wow.
The bizarre and gory tale of the Corpsewood Manor murders came to a conclusion at that point, but many issues remained. West and Brock described the horrific details of the night's events at the trial. They asserted that Scudder oddly remarked, "I asked for this," before being executed in his pink room after being bound and gagged. It's horrifying that the professor had a painting done of himself where he is seen gagged with gunshots in his skull months before this tragedy.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Furthermore, after Scudder and Odin passed away, hateful stories have been spread about them due to the fact that they were openly gay Satanists.
Obviously, and they had like sex parties and stuff, and that makes people uncomfortable, and they're going to be assholes about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fact that West said of them throughout the trial that, quote, "All I can say is they were demons and I killed them. That's how I feel about it," unquote, didn't help anybody's view on Scudder and Odin.
Yeah, of course, that's going to be your excuse. They're demons.
Yeah. Although the horrific incident at Corpsewood Manor in 1982 has largely been attributed to satanic sex, it's possible that prejudice against the victim's sexual orientation and religious beliefs are actually the driving force.
Yeah, I bet it's that one.
Unfortunately, a year later, the house was burned down by unknown perpetrators. People also will trek into the woods to collect pieces of the house.
Ew.
Petula also noted that upon taking the pieces, some form of tragedy would befall the thief. So, to ensure their luck changed, they would return the bricks or the different pieces of the house to the same place they took them, and they would apologize for their part before fleeing the scene.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, like, I really hate that he was fucking around with minors.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do bad things and still not deserve to be murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my story.
Oh, that's the end.
That's the end.
Yeah, I really like that was a wild ride from beginning to end.
Was it just chaotic?
Yeah, like, and I never knew, like I said, I didn't know if he was gonna be a good guy or a bad guy. I kept going back and forth with each new bit of information.
I know. It was very like touch and go.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Thanks. Do you have any jokes for me?
I did, but okay. This is stupid. Which bear is the most condescending?
Oh, I know this one. Oh, the panda.
Yes. I like that one.
That one's cute.
This is stupid too. What kind of noise does a witch's vehicle make?
Broom.
Yeah. Broom, broom.
I'm so proud of myself for getting those.
Yes, you are getting them all right.
Perfect. Well,
if you want more of us lovely ladies, oh, you don't have any jokes, do you?
No.
Okay. If you want more of us lovely ladies, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube.
And if you'd like to rate and review us, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to send us an email, it is historiesandmysteries515@gmail.com.
Yeah. And we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week.
Bye.
Bye.